While it isn't everyone's cup of tea, the fact remains that the majority of wrestlers in the WWE have to cut scripted promos. Some people do desperately need it, to be fair, and others, like the New Day or Kevin Owens, are given full freedom in the world to beat around the bullet points. But a big downside to a scripted promo is, instead of speaking authentically from the heart and letting words flow naturally, promos can come off wooden, they can come off staged, and when the stars misalign, you'll get someone who totally forgets what they're supposed to say. Here's 10 times wrestlers straight up forgot their lines. Number 10, Roman Reigns. Kind of ironic that the big dog got new canines after dropping the nickname, huh? Anyway, the newly Christian tribal chief is currently one of the top tier promos in the game right now, which is great for him as he had a hell of a journey to acquire such skills. Being thrusted in a top dog spot maybe a few years too early, Roman has more than a few noteworthy promos for better and usually for worse. He has the terrible "I'm not a good guy, not a bad guy, just a big dog," the classic 10-minute long promo segment where he literally just said, "This is my yard now." Tater tots and suffering succotash, they could both go to hell, but a personal favorite was the verbal clash between the new John Cena and the original. After Roman took too long for a comeback pause, John called him out on needing to be able to cut promos if you want to be the top guy. Ouch.
That's fine, big dog. Congratulations. It took you 5 years to cut a halfway decent promo, but now I'm about to shrink you down to size.
Number 9, Hulk Hogan. While WrestleMania 37's crowd were, a little bit hesitant to show their support for the old Hulkster and totally not obvious pairing with a black man to try sweeping that whole racism thing under the ring, at least WrestleMania 30's crowd got to enjoy the last interesting moment of his career before finding out who he really was. The legendary show of shows kicked off as strong as it can possibly kick off, with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock joining Hulkster as the opening trio of the show, but Hogan got to be the man to go out first. And during that promo, he went for the classic cheap pop and name dropped the arena he was in, the Silverdome. Except he wasn't in the Silverdome, they were in the Superdome in New Orleans, not the Detroit Silverdome where he wrestled Andre the Giant 27 years prior.
We are here in the Superdome without a doubt.
Number 8, LANA. I just want to remind everyone watching right now that your current reigning, defending WWE champion Robert Eyelashes was cucking Rusev and doing awful segments with his wife just a year and a half ago. Just a simple 18 months ago, and you've got one of the worst stories I've ever seen in my life. Now that everyone's miserable, let's lighten the mood with Lana botching her line and saying that per her restraining order on Rusev, the Bulgarian brute had to stay 90 miles away from her. Miles. Obviously, this is not going to happen. How does Rusev literally ever go into work? And Lana eventually corrected herself, stating she fumbled her words due to being flustered with love over Lashley.
90 feet, Rusev. You can't come 90 feet away from...
Number 7, Seth Rollins. Like a Shield brother before him, Seth Rollins is also one of the best promos the company's got going for him today. But he's pretty much always consistently had this gift of gab. Few people do smarmy chicken as well as he does, especially with the ha always in the back pocket. This made it pretty interesting when Rollins had to feud with John Cena and butchered a sentence worse than I've seen a sentence butchered in quite some time. To quote Michael Cole, and I quote, "What Cena should do is step away, take himself out of the match at the Royal Rumble, tuck his legs, tail between his legs, and walk off saving himself with whatever dignity he's got left." Yeah, I'm sorry, Seth, what was that part about tucking his legs in between his legs?
Tail between his legs and walk off saving himself with whatever dignity he's got left.
Number 6, also Seth Rollins. Just to poke some more fun at 2015 Seth, I'm gonna throw that time he completely fumbled the ball on the word inanimate onto this list. I know he didn't really forget his line per se, as much as he forgot how to say the word mere moments after properly pronouncing it, and I once again quote, inanimate before telling the crowd to, "Oh, shut up, shut your mouths."
An inanimate object, and not only an inanimate object. Hey, shut up!
Number 5, Owen Hart. And since I'm in the lane of more so promo botches than necessarily forgetting lines, let's have some fun and reminisce about Owen Hart's greatest promo of all time. Surprise, surprise, it takes place during the legendary feud between his fellow pink and blacked out brother Brett, who was in the ring cutting a promo on Owen before the Blackheart interrupts on the Titantron. Credit where it's due, Owen does cut a pretty damn fine promo back at his brother, but literally no one remembers the promo that came before this next line. The very same promo ends with one of the greatest closings I've ever heard in my life, and that's why I kicked the leg out of your leg. Quite literally, what are you talking about, Owen? How do you kick a leg out of its own leg?
You're too damn selfish, and that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg.
Number 4, Sid. A lot. I can't help myself. Psycho Sid Vicious is going down as not the all-time worst promo, but probably the most infamous. There's just too many instances to list off on this poor bastard trying and failing to utilize the English language in any sort of coherent way. The absolute peaks of the mountain range gotta be Sid telling Hall and Nash that they're only half the man that he is, and that he has only half the brains that they do. And its twin peak of a promo is Sid absolutely bombing backstage, like every single word was botched before asking Mean Gene if he could start over. Unfortunately for Sid, this gave us one of the greatest retorts in all of wrestling history. We're alive, pal.
How do you address those skeptics?
Well, the skeptics and all the people have a little bit of... Let me do this again.
Oh, it's live, pal.
Sorry.
Number 3, Randy Orton. This one is as classic as they come. Might be the purest form of someone just straight up forgetting their lines on live television. Randall Keith Orton, Mr. Snake Man himself, is doing an in-ring promo segment with his greatest rival of all time, John Cena. No, wait, hold on. No, it's the other guy that he wrestled too much. It's the new United States champion, Sheamus. Orton's halfway through a promo when he just suddenly halts. It's not too unlike Randy to do, he is a methodical snake after all, but when he blatantly walks towards Shamo, cups his hand, and just straight asks what his line is, I mean, it doesn't really get much more forgetting your lines than, hey, what's my line? Number 2, John Cena. There you are, Johnny boy. See, I thought I was going to see you in the last entry with old Keith, but you got one all to yourself. And he was all by himself, alone in the ring when this promo took place. Now, I gotta say, this is an underrated one because I don't see people talking about this John Cena Sunday promo often enough. Before the 2013 Royal Rumble, Cena was sent in to single-handedly promote an entire match of 30 men. Good luck. How does he attempt to accomplish this? By describing what people do on their Sundays, pointing out different members of the crowd, and betting what they would be doing in 6 days at the Royal Rumble Sunday. I don't care what you say, this has to just be a bunch of BS improvised by Cena. And number 1, Matt Riddle. You know, his actual name. God, if you guys search out any of these clips after this video, it has to be this one. The Cena promo is utter nonsense, but the Riddler really had that. You know, I take back what I said about Orton. This is somehow an even purer version of someone forgetting their lines. Backstage, Riddle rolls up on his scooter to Asuka. After she responds to him asking if scooters would be big in Japan, he just straight up says, "Sorry, I forgot what I was saying," and scoots his ass off the screen. What? His cheeky stoner face on the way out, Asuka's completely baffled look, and the way she cracks up at the end, it is a nearly perfect video, if not a 10 out of 10. Apparently, might not have been a botch, might have been scripted that way. It does fit Matt Riddle, to be fair, but I do not care. He literally says, "Sorry, I forgot what I was saying," and it's also the funniest thing I think I've seen in a year.
And? Yeah, you think? I'm sorry, I forgot what I was saying. That's not right.
And those are 10 wrestlers who completely forgot their lines, totally did not abuse that title. What are your thoughts? Listen on the comments down below. Have to like the video, subscribe, channel, and notifications, and that bell.